The topics of this podcast you're about to listen to includes cosplayers that will not just discuss said topic, but also make fun of, throw shade, run game at, etc., at anyone remotely connected to the topic at hand. So there is a possibility of being offended. Remember, you have been warned. Thank you. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Black Cosplayers podcast, episode number 17. I am one of your hosts, Ranma, and here with me tonight is a couple of people who have been here from day one. Say what's going on to my peeps out there. What's going on, y'all?
I'm fine, Corndorf. I'm just waiting for this convention to come up.
I hear that. Yo, did we lose did we lose Kay over there?
No, Kate's alive.
I don't hear her. Kay, you with the Soul Sister?
I think she changed our mic around. But anyway,
Okay.
Can you start us out with the topic?
Yeah. So, Kay will join us in just a bit. Tonight's topic, we're going to be talking about what is okay when it comes to cosplaying and the aspect of age and so forth. We've talked in the past about blackface. We've talked about where to go for your cosplays. Now we're going to talk about looting, per se. Now, one of the definitions of looting is when you take a anime character and you sexify it, whether it's male or female. And this is made famous through sites such as Geek Goddesses, Cosplay Deviants, and Pixel Vixens, and a few others. And it's a given. It's going to happen. Now, what got the community in a bit of a frenzy, because a particular cosplayer by the name of Momocon Cosplay, who we've briefly discussed here and there on this show, said that she was not going to lewd a particular character, and that is Kana from Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. Now, I would say over the weekend, or might even be a little bit before that.
You might as well name drop her since she's Hollywood.
As long as we don't call her Hollywood Hogan, we good. Over this past weekend, I would assume, there was video on her Facebook page of her doing photos, and it looked like she was dressed as Kana, but it was more, not scantily clad, but she was showing a lot of skin. And pretty much a lot of her fans and people who know of her, don't know her, pretty much got quite upset about that. So we're going to talk about on tonight's show, is it okay? Is it not okay? Where do we stand on all of this? Yeah. Akumato, let's start with you. What's your take on this, man?
Said last time there are limits. You will do as cosplays. That's one thing, but there are limits to it. You can't cosplay child characters because you will get the wrong demographic for that. And two, is that she probably did just get attention. Mm-hmm. Well, scratch that, she did for attention because that's her whole stick anyway. Mm-hmm. But if you go cosplay, you need to know what reason you're doing it for. You're just cosplaying for attention. You should not be cosplaying. I'm just gonna be honest. Right. Especially not gonna put the time and effort into it.
I mean, see, for me, it's a bit of a gray area because, see, I got into cosplay because I thought it was a fun thing to do. You got people out there who want to do it whether it's for fun, it's sexy, it's cool, for money, this or that. To me personally, that's all fine and dandy. If someone questions you about it, fuck it, own up to it. But to get that popularity and that fandom, whether you're male or female, there are certain things you would have to do to build your fan base. It's like if you're a guy, you got to be shirtless with a six-pack or do some epic armor cosplays and so forth. If you're a female, it's practically the same thing, but it's more an aspect of showing a lot of TNA, to get your fans, to get them what they want to do. And in a discussion I had with a friend of mine, it's like, yeah, there are certain characters going to be looted. Like, take, for example, like the Sailor Senshi in their normal outfits, or whether they're in their Senshi form, there will be cosplayers that's going to loot it or do a sexual variant of it. It's going to happen. But
either because they want to do it for sexiness or just because it's easier to do.
yeah, and it's like most of us don't bat an eye about it because we look at it like, well, they are 16 when in actuality in the manga they're 14. But we also look at it, well, it is the age of consent in Japan, so it's perfectly okay. Where that gets breaking down in certain prefectures and locations, the age of consent varies. You might want to read up on that before you travel. But hey, Kate, what's going on?
Hey.
Wait,
I wanted to say to add on to what you were saying.
Yeah.
In regards to this, I understand what you're saying with the age of consent, but in regards to Kana, I actually looked this up. Kana is 8.
Yes.
Like, and even in the Dragon World, like, I saw this argument when people were capping for it. They were like, yeah, she's a dragon, so she's over, like, 5,000 years old. And I'm like, even in the Dragon World, she is considered a child. Her mannerisms are that of a child. She's not like the, Lolly in, per se, Death Parade, who looks underage, but her mental capacity is that of, like, a 40-year-old woman. Kana is someone who's like a child. She has that childlike innocence, and that's why that meme, don't sexualize, or don't lewd the lolly or something like that.
Don't lewd the lowly, yep.
And I'm just like, really, like, I don't think it's the fact that it's just the sexuality alone. Like, you can't sexualize whatever character you want. It's the fact that people like Momocon and another cosplayer who I had this issue with, Dollylicious, who basically did a sexy version of the toddler version of Chucky from Rugrats. They claimed that they weren't being lewd about it. Like, Momocon specifically said that she was going to lewd him in her Patreon or whatever it is. Right. Those are private profile. And then later she backpedals and lies. She makes three different lies in order to cover her tracks because she knew she was wrong. Like, if you don't, that's the thing, don't lie. At least own up to it. And that's what really got people mad. Like, she claimed that she tried to claim that she was being taken, the photo was being taken without her consent. She was lifting up her dress in a convenient way to show her butt, to see a stain on her dress or something. And then she claims that she's cosplaying an adult, even though she looks nothing like an adult in this version. She made her makeup, her mannerisms to emulate the innocence of Kana as a child. Like, this isn't slick, and that's what irritates me about people who are capping for this. And it's like, really? And then her third lie was like, she wasn't going to loot her at all. Don't worry. And she ends up doing it. And then she makes a video of her literally, like, shaking her ass like she's a stripper, and has Justin Bieber's sorry in it with the specific line, I kid you not, is it too late now to say sorry because I'm missing more than just your body?
So
really?
So what you're saying is Momokun kind of planned this shit out from the start. She was going to do it regardless.
Yeah.
See, in a way, I can respect that because that's strategy, you know? I don't like it, but I respect her game on that, you know, because some of us, if we think about certain situations, how we plan it out, yeah, people might get mad, but this is how you plan out to get what you want, then yeah. Now, as for Dollylicious, I mean, I'm envisioning the cosplay. I can see it. Part of me is like, well, it's okay. But the other part of me is like, no, it's not okay. I mean, I can see that it's not really lewding sexual, but at the same time, I can see that it is, you know? It's like that gray area. At what point do you say it's not okay?
Well, I personally don't think it's not about it not being okay. I think it's about the lying and the, oh, I'm just an innocent cosplayer being attacked sort of acting ploy that they try to use. Like with Dollylicious, she has the pose in her room looking like it's like an Instagram model. It's where you're showing off your curves, you're showing off. Her shirt is like midriff short.
Right.
It looks nothing like what Chucky is. It's some random sports shorts that you would probably wear, say, at the gym or something, or playing volleyball or something. It's not something that is just like modest to the eye, or especially for the character. And my thing with Dollylicious was the fact that this character, I could give a little leeway to Momokun because Kana is one of those characters in the show. She's the constant gag of like, you get too close, but she's oblivious to it. But with Chucky, he doesn't even like physical contact as a character. Like, he's one of the shyest characters in the franchise.
Yeah.
So how do you take a little 3-year-old kid who can barely have contact with somebody and then make them sexualized and then not have people at least criticize? And that's one of the things I told Dollylicious on her post. I was like, you have every right to dress like this. Like, nobody can tell you no. But you cannot be surprised, mad, or act like you're a victim when people criticize it.
Yeah.
Because it's cringy. Like, she knew it was cringy because she made constant excuses for it.
Yeah.
So it's like, y'all know, if you just be honest with what it is, most people will get a little mad for a day or so, and they'll be like, okay, whatever. But if you constantly lie and backpedal, it makes it worse.
I mean, looking at it, if she hadn't gone with, like, the booty shorts and, like, regular shorts, it wouldn't have been so bad. A friend of mine did... I don't say it was a sexy version, but she had the shirt, her hair teased up, she had the Reptar doll, and she had a green tutu skirt. I thought that was, personally, I thought that was cute. Yes. It's modest and cute. Some might find it sexy, it's whatever, you know. But again, it's that, and I'm looking at some of these other cosplays, like there's another person who is doing Chucky. The shorts are kind of short, but the shirt is long. So in a way, that's sort of like, it's sort of like as if, You ever seen an episode of Sailor Moon where her and Chibi Moon trade places? It was like that. That's the way I kind of look at it. You know, for some may find it sexy, and others, it's or cute. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, and I totally agree with that. But it's just the fact that when you know it's wrong and then you start backpedaling.
Right.
And with Momocon, she's been under fire for not giving to her patrons. And the fact that people I actually confirmed this with a few people who do follow Momocon, that she did not give them their reward tiers for about 6 months. Like, it's going on 6 months now. And she did indeed go dark on her Patreon for a minute. And came back. And it's like, really, you're trying to stir up all this controversy and play the victim and things like that, and it's not practical to me.
See, that boils down to two things. Either A, she has that many fans that she forgot, or B, she just didn't care. My thing is, I'm not going to pass judgment on that, but a part of me wants to give the benefit of a doubt, saying, yeah, she probably forgot, you know. Shit happens.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, if I'm subscribing to someone's Patreon and I ain't get shit for 6 months, the second month in, I'm gonna be like, yo, what the fuck?
Right?
And she's already not real popular in the cosplay community because her craftsmanship or lack thereof.
Yes, I can't understand the lack of craftsmanship.
It's like, you're making 10K on Patreon. You can at least learn how to make crafts and get the materials, or just have your costumes commissioned.
Yes.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm just saying, I'm not trying to defend here. But she's probably not the only cosplayer on Patreon, with a Patreon where they're only doing the bare minimum to please their fans. As I was saying to Kumato earlier, I have a friend, she wants to do a Patreon. But she's plus size. But she knows her titties are out there. She knows that no matter what she does, she's going to get shit whether she shows her titties or not, and that her goal is, if she starts one, she's gonna give the fans the TNA, but she's gonna focus on her cosplay and her craftsmanship and show off all of that. She's gonna be like, well, I know I got the goods, but let me show you how much blood, sweat, and tears I'm putting into my craft to show you the goods, you know?
Yeah. And I completely agree with that. But Momocon, like, even those cosplayers, I've seen cosplayers who they do the bare minimum, or most of them is like nudes or they're pinups.
Right.
They're literally just a wig and a bathing suit of, like, the wig of the character and a bathing suit.
Right.
But even Momokon's wigs do not look professional. Like, they're not good. And it's not to be mean or to shame her or anything. And if she was, and the thing is, if she was one of those people who's just like you and me, who just cosplay for fun, and it didn't really matter, I would be like, okay, I really don't care. Like, that's her having fun. But the fact that she's getting $10,000 from people, and this is partially on the fault of her patrons, who are just, all they see is the booty and the boobs, and they are literally fueling this girl to swindle them out of money. Like, I took immediate notice just as a bystander when she cosplayed one of my favorite characters, Shion Shonozaki from Higurashi no Nakukoro ni, and the wig, I'll write off. That was one of the things that made me, that's noticeable, because I'm one of those wig nuts. I really like to have my wig as straight as possible and things like that, perfect, when I'm cosplaying. And that was one of the things I noticed. Like, her wig, the hairstyle wasn't even right, and it was matted. Like, all of her wigs, unless they are commissioned or done by somebody else, are matted. And most of her costumes are very, like, low quality. They're like closet cosplay equivalents, unless they're commissioned by somebody or one of her fans has given her a gift, like, bought her cosplay as a gift. And, like, for her recent cosplay, her Gohan cosplay, I'm like, where is the Gohan? Seriously. Like, it just looks like she kind of wrapped up some purple fabric. She got some, the kind of something similar to kind of emulate a hybrid between the Akatsuki shoes and the possibly DBZ shoes, and she just kind of went out there. It just doesn't seem like she's really into it, and it really does seem like this is all just a business, and that's my fear for cosplay. Things like that you're just getting the money, it's all about the lewds and stuff, and then no craftsmanship is available. Like, these are the top cosplayers. Like, if I've gone on an actual list of websites, the top cosplayers, there is not there's maybe one or two cosplayers, female and male, where they're not overly sexualized.
Right.
It's like, where's the creativity? You either have to make mechs and steampunk, or be
and
sexy,
use lights.
Or use lights, or be a sexy cosplayer, or for guys, you either have to cosplay yaoi characters, or you have to cosplay a guy with a shirt off all the time. Like, it's like, where is the craftsmanship? Why can't we acknowledge both? Is my
opinion. Also, other thing she does too, she cosplays, character of the months. Like, I know she cosplayed that one character from Pokemon, because Pokemon just came out. Camilla from Fire Emblem Fates, when this originally came out. That's our thing too. People get mad about her about. She cosplay characters she doesn't know anything about.
Yeah, but the thing
it's like
is,
she's a huge fan.
A lot of cosplayers do that. A lot of cosplayers are guilty about that. I mean, again, I ain't trying to be that guy, but if you're cosplaying a character and you have no idea who it is, spend 5 minutes on a wiki. That's it.
Yeah, that's my thing.
That's it. Nobody needs you don't need to know the entire backstory. Just 5 minutes so you have a good idea of who the character is, and then when you're making the cosplay, you can really fit into that character. Because you know what, there will be those guys that's going to ask you questions. It's okay that you don't know the full history of the character. It's okay. Yeah. To me, it's not okay when you're just like, I have no idea.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Like, most of the time, if you're even considering cosplaying a character, if you're doing it for fun or you admire, you've seen the character and there's something you like about this character. And so you're looking, in order to get this information to find out if you want to make this cosplay or buy it, you have to find out the basic information anyway. So you're going to have just basic knowledge to hold it, maybe at least a 5-minute conversation about the character. That's really all I would, if I were, judging someone based on their knowledge of cosplay, because I've done that. I have characters that I actually like to, look at and initially wanted to cosplay as, and as I'm looking for costumes and stuff, I see them, and I'm like, this is some good information. And I end up looking up the entire character background, but that's just me. But at least have, like, basic knowledge of the character is my thing. Don't just cosplay her to be the sexy riff of the month. Because it actually shows. When you actually put the effort to care about the character and actually kind of go in and look them up and kind of study them, the craft in your cosplay shows that you really care about the character. Even if you make your own twist to it.
True.
That's just how I see it. But I'm obviously overly, creative, and my mind's a hot mess when it comes to animation.
I'm just saying, now that we've really talked about this, let's kind of talk back on this whole aspect of, looting cosplays and so forth. Like, are we at that point where, because of the character, we're going to allow it or not?
What do you mean?
I mean, like, if we're going to, I'm just saying, if we're going to say that looting Kana is not okay because she is an 8-year-old girl, even though she's 5,000 years old, I'm sorry, the Sasami defense does not work here. You can try as all as you wish, ain't gonna work. She's 8 years old, human form. She lives, breathes as an 8-year-old girl. She, like you said earlier, she has the mannerisms of an 8-year-old girl. Because of that, she should not be looted. Just leave it alone. Doing an teenage or adult variant is one thing. Looting, no. Okay? Now, let's bring in Misty from Pokemon. Now, are we going to say it's okay to loot her?
How old was Misty in Pokemon?
I believe she's 12.
Okay. So she's not even hebophilia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's my thing. And a lot of people are mistaking like, they'll use the argument that, adult female cosplayers cosplay as Bible Black characters or schoolgirl cosplayers, the sexualized ones all the time. And I'm like, that's hebophilia, though. Hebophilia is normal.
Now, before you say, when you say Bible Black, remember, those characters are 18. Believe you me. If they were 17 or 16, the Japanese authorities had a field day with them.
Yeah, it's like that sort of aesthetic, that schoolgirl aesthetic where you're graduating your high schooler. That sort of basic high school hentai sort of aesthetic. That I can understand the hebophilia aspect, but like, for example, like, I'll do this on the male side since I am there's Shotokan in the yaoi community.
Right.
Boku no Pico is notorious for being straight up that line between hebophilia, it's pretty much pedophilia. Like, 13 and under, that's pedophilia. It's an anime that promotes pedophilia, at least the first episode. And that, in and of itself, if somebody were to cosplay Pico from Boku no Pico, like, just a regular off-the-mill cosplayer, like, say if it was a cosplayer like Reika, she's known to do, like, yaoi characters and things like that, and she did Pico from Boku no Pico, there would be a completely different response than the one with Kana or Chucky or any other one. Because it seems so far that if it's female and it's a cosplayer who does sexy female cosplays, it's more acceptable. And that is something that does disturb me in a way. That it's more excusable for, like, Lolicon than, like, Shotokan and something like that, when they're all essentially kind of, like, cringeworthy. So that's my thing. It's like, people are nitpicking, picking and choosing what is, that's disgusting. And then there's the other side that's like, I can get off to this, so it's nothing wrong with it. Like, it's like, no, it's all bad. You can get off to it all you want, but just acknowledge what it is. Like, that's my only thing. Be honest about it. Like, if it's cringy, just let it be known.
See, but the thing is, when you're being straight up about it, there's that fear of, a lot of these fans have this vision of who you are and how they portray you, and you being straight up about it, you're going to lose a part of that fan base, and your popularity is going to go down. And I get that,
I can understand that from a business perspective. But at the same time, it's like, if you lie, it could be just as much at stake. Like, for example, like, say if Momocon was like Jessica Nigri. She had huge endorsements, like, going on and stuff. Like, endorsements that could have been maybe connected to, like, adolescents to small children or something.
Right.
And this happens, and she tries to back and forth, backpedal around the bit, and then it happens, and then somebody wants to back out of, like, a deal. It's like, don't lie. Because then your advertisers are like, well, I don't, or people who could be watching interested, like, having an interest in maybe wanting to pick her up as an advertiser. It's like, they're seeing this, and they're like, this cosplayer's pretty wishy-washy, and there's a lot of controversy surrounding her a lot. so maybe I don't want to put my product on with her. Like, it's one thing to be hated on just because, oh, I'm a sexy cosplayer, or oh, I cosplay these characters how I want. And then it's one thing to, like, intentionally go out and create whole fabrications of controversy. Wow. Just for the sake of controversy. Like, whether or not she planned out every single detail of this just to get attention, or whether or not she wanted to do a sort of lewd style because that's her style of cosplay, and then it backfired, and then she tried to backpedal, but the evidence was there. It still doesn't look good either way. And this is a reoccurring thing with her and a few other cosplayers in the community. And it's also the White Knights who are by their side, loyally there to defend every and anything they do, and believe that they are gods and goddesses and can do no wrong. Which is also scary.
See, that just kind of goes back to what I said earlier. You know? Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to break that mold, you know?
And I, for one, want to break that back. I'm going to break that mold. You know I will.
See, you know... See... That's why whenever I use the meme, you need Jesus, I just think of you, because that's what comes to mind.
It's just, it's like, I'm not one to stifle someone's sexuality, or just like be like, nah, we censor that. I am the last person you will see advocating for censorship. But it's like, if you can't distinguish the line between reality and fiction, number one, which most people, that's a universal thing, and then distinguish the line between just telling the truth, or at least telling the truth enough to make it clear what your stance is. As a person, you know, your personal stance doesn't affect your job, you know, that line between work and personal needs. If you can't do that, then it's like, really, you don't need to be a public figure, and if you can't take the heat, stay out of the kitchen. Like, really, and it's like these... They think that they're the K-pop star status where everything's hard for them. They're these poor innocent cosplayers, and behind the scenes, they could be cooking up some controversies to try and get this, which is a brilliant marketing move. It's Zoe Berger, brilliant marketing move. But at the same time, there gets a time when you do it for so long, and it starts to dry up, and it becomes the boy who cried wolf, and it's like, okay, we've kind of seen this. This got old the last 30 times you did it.
Yep, it is what it is, you know?
It's like your friend Kopi said, some people are just in it and they don't know why they're doing it.
Yep. They're just in it for the money. They want to get they feel like they see a lot of the other cosplayers getting all these gigs at cons, and the Patreon money is rolling in, and everyone's buying their prints and hanging them on the wall or whatever. Private
unless you're me, I don't buy people's prints unless I know the cosplayer. If I believe in them and they have prints for sale, I will buy them. Simple as that. And I tell you this, I will not buy a lewd print. If it's a cosplay that I like, that's the one I'll pick up. And it's not because I don't want people to see it. Me, I guess personally, because I've been doing this for like almost 20 years, I've seen it already. It just doesn't do anything for me. I just rather, you know, let me see your best in a cosplay that is awesome, you know? And it's probably, you know, when you got the Patreons, you got cosplayers who will bend over backwards and, like, if you pitch this much, I'm going to give you all of this, I'm going to give you that, I'm going to give you behind the scenes on how I did this costume, these extended tutorials and stuff, which I think is great. And then you got the cosplayers, well, if you give this and much, you're going to get to see a little bit more skin as it goes up, you know? And it's like, and I know it probably bothers some cosplayers out there, and it's okay. I mean, if you're listening and you're like, it grinds your gears, hey, it's all good. But it's the nature of the beast. That's how the game is played. You can either play it this way, you can play it that way. And not for nothing, doesn't matter how you play it, as long as you work your hustle up, you're going to make your money, so.
Yeah, and I think it's not so much about making the money, it's about the recognition and the disproportionate recognition that there is. Like, cosplayers, like, you and you guys and me, we take a significant amount of time to make our cosplays. Some make them completely by hand, some buy an alter, and things like that. And there are friends I know, close friends of mine, who really want to get into cosplay, like whether for fun or fame, they don't really care. But they work extremely hard for days and days on end on these cosplays to make them nice, to put them in cosplay contests.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can't imagine.
Because the main difference is you got people that will make cosplay at the last minute. You can tell they don't really care about the hobby. They're just doing it because, everybody else is doing it. Then you got people, like you said, who spend a year or months getting this stuff together.
Yeah. And I couldn't imagine wanting to get into the industry with that mentality. You know, you're actually putting in craft, like making elaborate like dresses, outfits, suits, and things like that. Like literally costume designer level for movies level, like cosplay. And you're going up to the top, and you see people who literally just like barely stitch 2 pieces of fabric together, throw on a wig that could or could not be the best wig out there, could be matted, could be not, and bling, 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 they're getting all this money, all this attention, being featured on websites and cosplay magazines and posters and things like that as the top cosplayers or the faces of cosplay for females/males or whatever. And you're like, well, what about us people who do that work? Like, they're very rarely mentioned, and it's just kind of, it's sad, really.
Look at the POC group. The people did actually do work. They get overlooked. But, someone does, easy bake costume. You get a lot of praise for it.
See, that goes back to the hustle. It's one thing where, I'm just throw this closet cosplay for this convention. Then you realize everybody's loving it, and what can I do? It's gotten to, there are some cosplayers who will continue to do like out of the closet cosplays because either A, sewing is difficult, or B, they just don't want to. I can't say who is who, but if you're getting popular, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But again, kind of own up to it, because I really feel, maybe this is me being biased. Like if somebody did, let's say we go with Harley Quinn. Let's go with Suicide Squad Harley Quinn. Maybe it's just me. I would give person who made the entire outfit from scratch. I'm talking about they buy the shoes and mod it. They get the tights and do whatever. They get the fabric to make the shorts. If they had to buy the coat, that's fine. If they made everything else, cool. As opposed to ordering it away, ordering it and just having it in 3 days. Yeah. But then if you just putting it on, just to roll around and have a good time, that's one thing. At that point, no one cares. But if it's more like, you're just trying to put yourself out there for the popularity, then, not so much.
Yeah, because there's being an artist or being creative, and then there's just being, like, an entertainer. You just like to play the cosplay. You like to role play a little bit. Like me, I'm never going to get to that point unless I'm really just determined to just be like, I'm going to make my cosplays from scratch right here, right now. Like, I will most likely order or get a custom order of a cosplay and then buy parts of it or something like that and modify it. I like to modify things. Yeah. But I'm not going, my reason for cosplaying, I like the characters. I study the characters because I really like them, and then I try to roleplay and act like them. It's like being an actor for 3 days or so, or whatever. I'm going to a convention or photo shoot. It's different for everyone. And I feel like a lot of the cosplayers, they have this pressure, the famous ones, they have this pressure to say, I make all my stuff, because there are people out there who have that sort of elitism that only homemade cosplay should be at the top mark. When, yes and no, I kind of agree with that, but at the same time, I'm like, if you market yourself well, like, for example, Jessica Nigri, she marketed herself good enough, and she ended up scoring an endorsement with being the face of Lollipop Chainsaw. Yep. And that's her thing, and that's pretty much soared her up to stardom from where she was at. She used to just cosplay for fun and stuff like that and do what she wanted. And there was a scandal that went on with her, what was it, a few years ago, where she was claiming that she made some of her props and costumes, and she was actually getting them commissioned under the table, until one of the people who she actually commissioned and she never credited for didn't really know about how it went down, and he basically signaled the alarm. She was able to keep it quiet, but it's like, at that time, but it's like, you shouldn't have to lie about, I get my stuff commissioned. You know, not everyone's going to be a Yaya Han, you know?
And, they go back to, I'm saying, if you're making bank on Patreon where you don't have to hold down a regular 9-to-5 job, for benefits and this and that, you have all that time to learn the skills in the trade or to buy the costume and this and do that,
Yeah, at least improve.
Or my Patreon Uncle says right now. She's notorious for using her Patreon money, Momocon, using her Patreon money to buy for drugs and parties, but not for actual cosplay craft. And so people try to defend us saying, oh, well, you need to pay bills. But the thing is, most cosplayers do like Patreons and stuff. They already have their life together.
But, and also, and it's been said, a lot of cosplayers have come out and say, I do not make as much money as you think I do. I have read stories, where there are cosplayers who, they hold down that 9-to-5 job, the cosplays and the commissions and all of that. It just allows them to break even on the cosplays or a little bit more so they can go to cons and stuff. Or they have a significant other that can handle the house while they go do the cosplay and make their dreams come true, A lot of cosplayers, on a financial aspect, like filings, they take a loss on this, because not everybody is able to, make that money and so forth. It's a lot of hard work, and not for nothing. And for the cosplayers who do commissions, 9 times out of 10, they undervalue themselves because, you know what, nobody wants to pay, like, let's say you just want to commission Yusuke's uniform Yu Yu Hakusho. I could probably tell you right off the bat, the average commissioner will probably charge between $200 to $250 because that's being custom tailored for you. Yeah, you can go on the Chinese sites and get it for like half to 2/3 less, and that's what a lot of people are used to paying. They want to be like $250. How about if I give you $100?
Yeah, like one of my friends, she has her own business. She creates cosplays, particularly Disney cosplays, mostly for herself, but she'll do commissions. And I actually was inquiring to her about doing a commission for Gone with the Wind. Like the Scarlett O'Hara's famous dress from Gone with the Wind. I asked her how much it would be if she got the fabric, or if I directed her to the fabric and everything. She said it'd be like $40 and $20 shipping. Yeah. And I'm like, that is super cheap. Like, what? The dresses on eBay cost more than that. And I'm like,
well, because it's also throw in the fact that there are, if you're really friends with various commissioners, they will cut you a good deal on stuff.
Like me and my commissioner. He said, like, yo, I can get you a free pass for Momocon.
Nice.
That ain't bad.
It cringes me out. It's like, you want to be understanding, but at the same time, it's like, I smell bullshit in the sphere. And then there's this thing like, hey, people lie. People are sexy all the time. It's not a big deal. And it's like, yes, it is. It may not be a big deal right now, but after a while, people are going to try and ignore it, and then it gets bigger and bigger. It's like a virus or an infection. If you leave an infection long enough, it's going to grow bigger and bigger, and it's going to be a big problem. And the people who are around it, it wasn't affecting directly, are going to start noticing and start complaining then, while the people who were bringing this to light before it got horrible were like, I told you so. I don't want it to get at this point, because cosplay is already changing. It's already becoming politicized. And that's one of the places I was hoping it was not going to be affected by stuff like that.
Now, the touch base, a friend of mine who brought up the topic that we're talking about, we were discussing it earlier, and there was something that she said that came from Cosplay Deviants, and it makes a lot of sense. they pretty much say is, if the character is obviously innocent, don't do it. But if the character is underage, like a teenager, but is heavily sexualized in the source material, then by all means.
Yeah, I agree with that.
See, and also, like, and another time, this was about, I'd say about 3, maybe 4 years ago, there was an artist. She did lingerie versions of the Sailor Senshi. Oh, and everybody jumped on that. I was not a fan of it because, I mean, yes, I have seen the Sailor Senshi. I've read doujins. I've seen sexy fan art. I get it's one thing to seeing them in a compromising position in the seifuku as opposed to just lingerie, and it's like it kind of messes with your head if you think about it, you know.
What kills me when people just do sexy versions out laziness. It's like, so you couldn't do the full costume, so let's go do a Lou version.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's usually down to laziness, and it's very obvious. Like, this also applies to the current trend of the Wendy's logo.
Mm-hmm. See, there you go. That's something else. Like, we know Wendy was based off of an 8-year-old girl.
Yeah,
we know this.
The CEO, the creator's 8-year-old daughter. Like, and then even if she's like 56 now,
yes,
it's like when that logo, the face of that logo is 10-year-old Wendy.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is the 8-year-old version of that child, and it's like really like, and I really got upset. It was in an anime group that I admin. I got really upset when people were just, and the guy's art, it wasn't just like cosplay, it was art too. The guy's art, he's a notorious, his art is considered pedo art. Shadman, I believe his name is.
Yeah, Shadman. Yep.
Yeah. His art in and of itself, personally, from one artist to looking at another artist, it's very mediocre, and I can only see the reason why anybody would buy it is because of its sexual nature. And my thing with his art piece with Wendy, it was like people were like, oh, it's just, Wendy's logo's been around for like 50-something years, it's not that big of a deal. And it's like, when you intentionally, just like with Momocon, when she intentionally made her makeup to look like the sort of innocent underage, sort of Harajuku, innocent love, like, you know, idol Japanese girl makeup look, like Kana was, and put it forth, just like with Wendy's. He made Wendy's look like a little buck-tooth, missing tooth, ginger 10-year-old, showing her panties of all that Angus beef or whatever. And it's like, really? If she was like more adult, like some of the fan art I've seen, I would be alright with it. But it's like, they're making her look like a child who's flashing her panties to us, like she's ready to let's get it on. And it's like, no, that's crazy. Don't do that.
Yeah. Now, I have friends who have done smug Wendy's, and it's pretty much Wendy's typical outfit and like doing smug poses and stuff. I have a friend who did Visual K, Virgin Killer Sweater Wendy.
Yeah.
And I can see why some people would be like, you shouldn't do that, you know, it's looting. I can see it. But from when I saw the pictures, from a photographer point of view, I thought it was classy. You know, I'm like, she's not really showing anything, but she is. It's just kind of funny yet classy. But I can see why some people can be quite upset by that. So, yeah. And I also see it like, if a cosplayer wants to do her outfit, do it all smug and shit, that's fine. But if you're kind of going with the, you know, looting it, you know, pulling up your skirt and doing all that, not so much. But I'll admit, I'll straight up say, I have friends who have done similar outfits like that, and I'm like, this is cool, this is awesome. Now, you might call me a hypocrite, yes, but you know what? These are friends of mine. I'm saying that to support them. I see both sides of it. I like what I see. I think it's done classy yet tasteful, you know? But maybe to you, it's not. It's bad, it's horrendous. Ergo, the gray area.
Yeah, my thing is, my guidelines are very specific. They're not like, if it's a gray, like Virgin Killer Sweater. While that is kind of like a sexy thing, it's not like, come on, let's get it on. Like, literally, the drawing was like, the Wendy's burger or whatever, and then it was like extra beef, extra thick or whatever. It was very sexually suggestive, and it's like it's screaming, "Have sex with me," and it's like no. And then like apparently the transgender trans female cosplayer who did the Wendy's, the one that was kind of garnering a little controversy.
Yeah. Look, I'm gonna tell you something. I saw that. I was questioning my sexuality when I saw that. Okay? I'm just like, Wendy got a booty. I'm just saying, I was like, bruh.
Pretty.
But I look at it, but on that side, I'm like, you know what? I'm okay with that. If I can sit there and be like, you know what, that's good, that okay, that's fine,
Yeah, and that one looked like an adult. Like, that looked like she was like a farm girl, an adult farm girl, or getting there.
Yeah.
So...
And you know what? No, I guess, it's more like cheesecake than anything else, so it's not so bad. But again, for some that say this is cheesecake and it's looting, gray area,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all a matter of opinion and personal, like, what is your personal loot? What is your definition of to loot? Because there are different lines for different people. But I think my personal definition, and like you said some of your friends have kind of done similar stuff, and you pretty much support them, and is that being a hypocrite, whatever. I don't think it's being a hypocrite per se, it's just supporting your friends, because generally when you have your friends, you want to support them. I personally would probably support them, but be like, give them the heads up that, it's gonna get criticized. You're gonna get criticized for it. But strut it how you want it, but I don't want to hear you complaining about being criticized for it, because you know going into this you will be criticized. Like, I just feel like the facts, the pros and the cons need to be weighed when doing things. Just like with the whole controversy with the so-called blackface. While me and you, everyone in this chat knows that that's not blackface, cosplaying a character for admiration because you think it's cool and wanting to emulate that character even down to the skin tone because they're that awesome, is not anything related to the 1960s blackface and continuation of demeaning Black Americans for sport. We know it's not that, but there are people who genuinely believe that based on whatever it may be, based on whether it be ignorance or based on what they're taught or based on, just different factors of what they believe. They will be the ones to criticize people who aren't thinking like that. Aren't trying to be inherently offensive. It's just a matter of what is controversial and what isn't. So you have to be prepared for controversy. And really, even if you're not even being controversial, you have to be, being someone who's in the spotlight just for a minute, you have to prepare yourself for controversy. You could be at a con cosplay thinking it's perfectly normal, and some person could sideline you claiming that your cosplay would look better if it looks such and such, It's like, you just gotta be prepared for stuff like that. But especially if you know it could garner controversy.
I think we've kind of beaten this to the ground, Honestly, at something like this, there are no winners. There are no losers. There can be, depending on how you feel. It just boils down to a gray area and people's opinions and how you feel about said opinions. We've said ours, but it boils down to, you can pretty much do whatever the hell you want to do, but if somebody questions you or calls you out for it and they feel what you're doing is kind of wrong or this or that, you just have a one-on-one hearty, own up, just say how you feel, and just let it be. There's no need to, kind of push the letter around, trying to tiptoe around it, saying it's not this, it's not that,
Yep. That's what I think. And that actually, not to beat this down again, but that picture you showed me of that cosplayer who made that post about the comparison between the criticisms of the face painting versus the criticism of sexy cosplay.
Yeah.
It kind of is like that.
Yes.
It baffles me how protected you can be just for, showing the skin. Like, you're literally a fortress that can't be touched. But to do something, take out the time to kind of go in, and do this because you really want to do it right and you're really concentrating on it.
Mm-hmm.
And to be completely shamed, called a racist, threatened, it kind of, it's very weird the way the cosplay community is going with criticism. Some criticisms are 100% yes, and other criticisms are 100% you can't do it, or that's shaming. You shouldn't, you're slut shaming, or you're this and shaming. And it's like, really? What is the line? Where is the freedom of speech? Is it freedom of speech when you feel like it should be criticized, or is it freedom of speech when you don't? It's very interesting to me, the mindset of the community that was founded on the principle of being different and being just a bunch of nerds dressing up and having a good time. Now we've turned this into World War III, sort of, for nerds.
Yeah, I mean, there was a time where, when it was still kind of small and we all got into it, we looked for other people that were fans. We tried to find our significant others in the fandom. I know people who have met, dated, and gotten married because of the fandom. And then as time goes on, it's like you meet somebody in the fandom and you just want to hit them with 20 questions to see if they really are a fan or not. I'm just like, you came to me, asked me about this or saying something about this. I think you're a fan.
Yeah, what I understand those conversations and things. It's like people are just attacking and they're not being called out. That is my issue. It's the be complacent, see no evil, hear no evil, there is no evil. Speak no evil. You can't call it out, or else you're being you're slut shaming or you're witch hunting and things like that. Who is on? Is that Black Prion?
Yep, Mr. Black Prion.
What did I miss?
Yo, what's going on, Preacher Man?
Not much, yourselves.
We just talking about cosplay and, the gray areas about looting cosplays. Is it okay? Is it not okay? When do you say whenever, So we were talking about how Momocon said she was going to lewd Kana. Then she said she wasn't going to, and still did it. The uproar about that, and as well as a lot of people jumping onto doing smug Wendy cosplays, and we're seeing some sexy cosplays out of that, and also comparing, what age do we say you can't lewd a character at? Because it's people are going to do it regardless. Are we saying it's okay because of their age, or because of what they're wearing, the popularity, and so forth?
Okay.
What do you think?
Well, unfortunately, what I think is probably not the popular opinion, but look, you guys are going out there and you're cosplaying as Chucky Finster, but at the same time, your vibe is given, put the penis right here. Wow. That is a baby. That is an infant. Okay. Now, I know from an abstract point of view, I'm just in a costume. Yes, but you're cosplaying as a baby. But then you make it lewd to where Chucky Fincher's like, I can't see without that dick. Not the glasses, just the dick.
Wow.
On the other hand, you've got these other cosplayers who are like, I want to cosplay as, characters that are like 6 years old and 12 years old, and they're clearly underage. But remember, we're talking about a community that is okay with body pillows being sold with those characters as well.
True. Which is also cringe.
It is. But at this juncture, you see women do it more often than men just because I ain't got enough water on the planet to satisfy the thirst in the cosplay community. And at this point, they're just taking it for every dime it's worth. I mean, my last video, y'all saw. There's a girl with a Patreon reward of for $150 a month. She will wear panties. She will go Periscope stream to you, her buying the panties. She will wear the panties, and then she will mail them to you. And for $250, she'll even send the socks. And people are buying it, so let that just paint the landscape for you.
What can you do?
Every man has their price.
Yup. Every lady as well. I do notice the male cosplayers or the male pinups. They're more.
You know what?
They don't do as much.
You know what? See that's the thing. I mean, we're over here talking about the ladies, but there are probably guys out there doing the same thing. Like if you pay like $100, you're gonna get all these pictures of me in my jock strap, or pumping iron, or you get me.
Can someone find those Patreons for me?
I mean, Jay Stryker, he's
there
a
you
popular
go.
one. Even though he's gay, he still, ladies love it because he does predominantly his sexy cosplays are One Piece characters. He does Mihawk, Trafalgar Law, and Zoro, and he'll do literally almost bare naked Patreon ones, and it's the girls be eating it up. He does strip shows at conventions. It's they eat it up.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much Momocon at a whole crazier level. It's just the audience is a bunch of screaming fangirls. 8 different directions.
Wow, that's all I gotta say is wow.
I think it's worse than the female patrons with their male. At least the males, they kind of have to conduct themselves because there's an image that the man is a predator. Well, females, they don't care. They don't care.
Well, no. See, the vice versa. That is, they're sirens.
Nope.
Every dude is apparently on the prowl, though.
Yeah, exactly. Girls can be on the prowl too.
We just out here like hyenas, man.
See,
Simba, everything the light touches is the pussy that is mine. What? That's not real.
That is the asshole Simba. Beyond our orders. That is how you get it.
That's how you get syphilis.
God, wow.
Hey, bro, we live in Georgia. That stuff, epidemic.
Not even a lie.
Especially in Athens, boy.
Mixed out with a little bit of heroin.
Hey, that's all I gotta say is just hey. I'm just well.
It's just kind of defeating.
Mm-hmm.
It's we've discussed it. The conclusion's pretty clear. And it's you want to do more. It's shouldn't there be more?
I don't think there is a conclusion here. I think Prion just rolled up in here. He not just ended it. He just, you know how you just come in and you just slam the door or something shit like that? Brother ain't slammed the door. He just closed that door. You just heard the door just fall over and just drop all the way down. You're and he's just standing there, just going, wiping his hands. Well, my work here is done. And I'm just staring over how am I going to get that shit out the ground? Who can I call at this time of night to come get it? Man.
At that point, it's just thank you and good night.
I'm my landlord's going to they're going to jack my rent up for this. I can't find anybody to come get it, man. Fuck it.
I apologize if this stream was supposed to be politically correct before I got here. No one debriefed me.
There's no such thing as political correctness on this goddamn show.
The Black Cosplayers podcast is not responsible for the offended parties of this taping.
Okay, you don't even have to say that because that is said right before every single episode. Motherfuckers are warned before they jump in with they feet dirty into the collard greens, okay?
Okay, before we go any further, though, I need to give my disclaimer.
Mm-hmm.
I give it every time I'm here. Yes, I'm Black Brian, and I am still a sack of shit.
Lord.
There. So you don't even have to go in the comment section and type that I'm a sack of shit. We already know.
Oh my goodness. The memes.
Oh, Momocon's coming in 3 days, so
Oh, I can't wait.
I can't wait.
craziness.
The drama is gonna be thicker than bloody water.
Yeah.
in the bayou.
Next week, I want to hear some stories about Momocon. I want to hear some stories.
Oh, don't worry, don't worry. If Brian goes,
story.
I will. If Brian goes, I will tell you a story about a foolish samurai warrior
I'm surprised he's not in the Momocon
with an impotent sword,
Oh.
No.
and how he found the vagina and he wished to oppose it.
I can't.
Yeah, I'm surprised Brian's not in the Momocon triumphant group.
Nah, see, this is what he does. This is what he does. If I say I don't like something, or Event or Rock says we don't like something, or something about a certain group, he'll just be like, yeah, I don't like him either. Just because he wants to fit in that badly, and I'm like, dude, I don't care.
Sound like someone me and Kay know.
Oh Lord.
Shit.
But you know, I'll see you guys at Momocon. I'll be able, well, on Thursday, and hopefully some parts of Friday, I'll be able to hang out.
Okay.
I'm just gonna be going to parties. I got invited to some, so I'll be good.
Oh, you got invited to parties. Does that extend to your boy?
I can invite you. You go to a Facebook group for it.
A Facebook group?
Yeah, there's a Facebook
you know,
group for Momocon parties.
maybe I don't even need to go, because I know them Facebook group parties. I know how most of them start.
No, it's just group for like buying parties. That's it.
No, I get that, but I've seen some of them. They be talking about, yeah, we having a party, we gonna do this, and then
And nothing happens.
no, it's not even that nothing happens. It's alright. I only know this because my friend did it to people. She would say that she's wearing a red shirt. She's on like the 3rd floor, looking down at people, and she says that she's one of those people on the floor. So you'll see a bunch of dudes walk up to that girl and be like, "Hey, so you ready for the party?" And that girl has no idea what's going on. Like, who are you?
Sausage festival just started.
Yeah, it's like the ATL orgy thing that happened. I don't know if y'all remember that.
No, see.
Was Brian there?
Nah, wait.
Are you talking about something, an orgy someone threw together on Craigslist?
No, it wasn't Craigslist.
Okay. Alright, because you know how it is.
All right,
Every time
all
a con comes up, somebody finds something on Craigslist and shares it, and I'm like, well, if you hear it through Craigslist, I wouldn't go. If you hear it through the grapevine or on another social media site that's kind of dark, then by all means.
This is how the story goes. Apparently, there was a chick who was basically writing a thesis paper on guys are thirstier, hornier, and more desperate than girls. This is what the story is.
Alright.
Now, here's what these are the parts that I know are facts. Somebody, for whatever reason, it could be that she was doing a thesis paper and she did it out of her own volition, but she or someone made a bunch of these, like, you've seen those party posters where it's like some thick girl and the fancy con and we gonna turn up at and blah, 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 location.
Mm-hmm.
So, it said the ATL orgy. There was a hashtag for it and everything. There was posters, flyers. It was getting a bunch of retweets and a bunch of publicity. They had food there. Like, you got sick. You were like, oh, man, I'm worn out. Let me get some of them biscuits.
Mm-hmm. Were they Popeye's biscuits?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. All I know is at the end of that, it was just like 84 dudes showed up, not a single woman showed up, and one dude had to go to his car, pull out a PS4, and they started playing 2K. So, I mean, you know.
See, now, look, I ain't trying to put my personal life out there, but I have found myself in similar situations, and 20 minutes in, if it's a sausage fest, I'm out. Now, if I'm talking and chatting with people having a good time, then I might stick around. I might. It just depends on how it is.
Anybody who just pops up with all open orgy, I'm not. First off.
See, but also on the same token, all those 84 niggas that were there, they all had the same thought. The next person coming in is going to be a chick. Next person coming in is going to be a chick.
There was literally tweets of people saying, well, there's got to be one, right? How you think that was going to work when she walked in and just saw 84? Y'all thought.
You know how people's is.
I can't. Ew.
Like, I just can't wait to watch the Thirst Brigade just on the prowl at Momocon. It's gonna be great.
I can't wait to see Jane Crow over there.
Jane Crow.
Oh, you don't know about Jane Crow. We talked about
You sound like you about to pass the Jane Crow laws over here. What?
I mean, you don't know who Jane Crow is. I mean, you
I
know
sure
who
don't.
Jane Crow is, but you don't know our code. Who the code name is for.
I probably don't.
Have we stopped recording or?
We still going because Prion gave us a story. So I think it's now time we wrap things up. Because if we don't, I don't know when I'm going to be able to hit the stop button. Because I'm going to be like, damn, these stories are good. But I don't think some of these people should hear this. But damn, these stories are good. You know. But
like a podcast day devoted to stories.
Oh God.
Or incognito, just to make it safe.
Convention horror stories. All right.
Yes.
So, if you like what you heard, tell your friends. Let them know what you think. Hit us up at blackcosplayerspodcast@outlook.com. Episodes go up every week on YouTube. They will be linked on our Facebook page, facebook.com/blackcosplayerspodcast. We'll be back next week with, we'll be talking about Momocon, and I should be expecting some real outlandish stories because I know the people I roll with. So, Black Prion, can you take us out?
All right. It's Uncle Ruckus here. No relation. Now, I don't know what you have heard from these unsavory coons here, Robert. But at the end of the day, you gotta realize they're the only people that are so technically unsavvy enough that they were still using Outlook instead of a Gmail. 2017. Now, that being said, I'd like to appreciate each and every one of you that has come along for the ride on the past. What episode is this?
17.
The darky can count. The 17th installment of the Black Cosplayers podcast has been brought to you not by Adult Swim or any of the Turner companies that come along and coincide with, but by yours truly. I'm not really funding this. I can't even buy my own clothes, but the point is, I'm a sack of shit. All these people are lit, and you know exactly where you want to get your good content from, and that's right here. So I'm going to turn this thing back to our DJ, the host, and I'll see you guys next week.
Y'all remember now, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
No, just leave it alone. Leave it alone.
Leave it alone.
Are we good to go for not recording?
Just make sure Uncle Ruckus don't take all the government cheese when he leaves. I mean, shit, I gotta make myself a sandwich later.
Oh, everyone's always on about the government cheese. First I have to deal with a foolish samurai. Now you want to talk about government cheese. Everyone's always on with the cheese. I wait 50 years and all you want to talk about is cheese? Why can't we talk about the president or how the Samurai Jack special wasn't what you wanted?
It was growing.
Okay. Hey, we see y'all next week. We out.